I knew when I purchased this t-shirt, it was gonna come in handy so many times on this channel. Today what we're going to be discussing is something I never got a chance to talk about, but is in the works, in the background, that really interests me. And in a time of quarantine where no news is really going on, I thought, why not bring something to light that maybe a few people don't know about? Shrek 5, the Shrek Reboot. I'm going to be giving you the history of this project, when we can expect to see it in theaters, all the details behind it. So I need you guys to let me know in the comments section, do you want to see your favorite ogre come back, even if it's in a reboot? Your favorite Shrek film in the series? If you say the third film, I'm calling the police. But also don't be forgetting to hit that like button. I'm just a messenger. I didn't call up Hollywood and say, bring back the ogre in a reboot. But if I could, I would. Alright, so if you at all were fortunate enough to grow up with the Shrek movies like I was, you absolutely love this franchise, are a little disappointed by what the sequels became, but nonetheless is a staple of your identity, and the fact that Hollywood is bringing it back can sound a little off-putting, but the details behind this are pretty cool. So it has been over 10 years since we last saw Shrek in theaters. That is really just all thanks to the third film not being well received, making less money at the box office, just starting a downward trend for the Shrek movies. But that all changed when DreamWorks was bought out by NBC Universal in 2016. Same company that runs Illumination Studios would now be the head of DreamWorks, with that great little logo of the man on the moon fishing. The physics make no sense, but I always hoped that guy got a fish or two. With a new company now owning DreamWorks, they decided to dig into their vault of most popular IPs, and of course the most iconic one to come out of DreamWorks, in my opinion, is Shrek. Leading to an interview in November of 2018 with the CEO of Illumination Studios, the people behind the Minions, Despicable Me, Grinch, Secret Life of Pets, said that he's gonna be rebooting Shrek and Puss in Boots. But it wouldn't be your typical reboot, because he's actually wanting to keep the exact same voice cast. Exactly what he said is, when you look back at those vocal performances, they're awesome, and while you certainly could make a case for a complete reinvention, I find myself responding to my own nostalgic feelings of wanting to go back to those characterizations. Continuing on, the challenge for us has been to find something that really does feel like it's not simply yet another film in a series of sequels. And to me, this leads to the most conflicting feelings on this Shrek 5 reboot, because with the word reboot, you basically emphasize that you're wiping away all canon, starting from a fresh ground with these characters, eliminating all the lore, the backstory, inside jokes, just the good fun adventures, or some of the good fun adventures that we had with these characters. But then I get excited for the project because the CEO says that he wants to keep the same voice actors that I think are iconic with the characters: Donkey with Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers with Shrek, Cameron Diaz with Fiona, Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots. All things that if I got another Shrek movie and it was done right, it would just remind me of my childhood and why I love these films. To me, the smartest thing you could do is maybe reboot it all the way back to the second movie, to where, yeah, you can make a new Shrek movie, you keep the same voice actors, you could reference the events in the first two Shrek movies, but you mainly focus on the brand new adventure that you have for us, and sticking to setting up a new series, a new franchise, for a new generation of ogre lovers to be born. But again, that might make some people upset, because there are fans of the fourth Shrek movie, in where Shrek and Fiona have multiple kids. To kind of wipe things back to the second movie would kind of erase those kids and that family. But okay, they plan to keep the voice actors if they can hire them back to continue on with another Shrek franchise. Even with that awesomeness put into this new movie, you still have the thing where they're most likely going to change the animation style. Don't forget, this is all being done by the studio who runs Illumination, and Illumination has a very specific animation style that some people are a fan of. I like the detailing behind the characters and how beautiful the worlds look, but the actual designs of people, not the biggest fan. To then imagine somebody taking all the character designs of the Shrek characters and the fairy tale characters, Pinocchio, the Wolfman, the Three Little Pigs, and just really cartoonifying them, making them overly bright and saturated, just, I think, downplays what the whole point of Shrek is. Because in my mind, the whole idea behind Shrek was that you do make fun of traditional kids storytelling. It's a parody on fairy tales where they make fun of that fantasy of, oh, Prince Charming, of, oh, happy endings, which I think is the reason they kind of lost their way after the second movie, because they just Dude, I don't even know what. But the other reason I think is obvious, and it being a popular IP of why Illumination Studio is behind this reboot and chose the Shrek character to start anew, is because that world has a plethora of characters to pull from. They mentioned in that interview with the CEO that he wants to reboot Shrek and Puss in Boots. The spin-offs aren't gonna start there. We could get a buddy cop Pinocchio and Wolfman movie. I wouldn't even put it past them to give us a solo donkey and dragon movie. You all have wondered how they started a family and had children. They could give us those answers. As of right now, the current release date for Shrek 5 is September of 2022. I kind of have high hopes for this project just because I am such a big Shrek fan, but I would really want it to feel more like the first two movies than just some slapstick put together do-over. How do you feel about the comments from the CEO, and what do you want them to change or keep? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.